It does look good. Welcome to Ascension Parish Coffee Talk, a weekly show where I talk about nothing but the people and places here in Ascension Parish. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer for Ascension Parish. And this week, we're going to do things a little differently. My kids have been struck with strep throat, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to interview anybody, so I was going to go ahead and make one of their favorites. We had some stale, couple-day-old French bread left, and I thought maybe it might be soothing on their throat now that they're feeling a little bit better to have some nice soft bread pudding. So we're gonna make white chocolate bread pudding. It's my family's recipe. Everybody has their own version, just like gumbo and jambalaya and everything else, but I did get this recipe from someone that is from New Orleans. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. The ingredients for bread pudding is very simple. All you're gonna need is some day-old French bread. You're gonna need some vanilla. I don't put raisins in mine because I'm not a big raisin fan, but I do use white chocolate chips. So I'm gonna make that in the sauce that goes on the white chocolate bread pudding, and it actually goes into the mixture as well. This is not a fat-free dessert, so you're gonna need about 3 cups of heavy whipping cream and 2 cups of whole milk. If you're watching your weight after the holidays, I don't recommend this because it also requires 3 cups of sugar and 3 tablespoons of real vanilla and 3 farm eggs. I'm lucky because a friend of mine on Facebook, Crystal Mueller, has some what she calls yard eggs, and they're just free-range chickens in her yard where she has her chickens lay eggs, and I was able to pick up a couple dozen from her. If I can find yard eggs, I always like to use those. So with your stale day-old French bread, you're gonna wanna like cut those up in pieces, and I do them about this size. So you're gonna cut those up, and after you cut those up, you're gonna set those aside in a buttered baking dish. So you're just gonna take a stick of butter and run this into the inside of the baking dish and get it all buttered. And then all these will get cut up and put into the baking dish. In 1 large sauce pot, you're gonna put in 3 cups of heavy whipping cream, 2 cups of whole milk, 1 package of white chocolate chips, and you're gonna simmer that on medium heat. Now that that Tylenol kicks in, do you think that you want some white chocolate bread pudding?
Yes.
All right, while we're waiting for our white chocolate chips to melt into the pot over here, we're going to add in 3 eggs with 3 cups of sugar. I know it seems excessive, but that's what makes it taste good. I wouldn't eat this every day, that's for sure. But since the kids are sick and Sydney's starting to feel a little bit better, this will be a nice sweet treat for her. We're gonna measure out 3 cups of sugar. 1, 2, and 3. All right, with that 3 cups of sugar, you're gonna add 3 eggs. 1, 2, and this is the eggs from Crystal Mueller from her little farm that she has there in Santa Ma. We got to visit her, and she makes homemade beef jerky too. So if you ever get a chance to try Crystal Mueller's homemade beef jerky, it is the bomb. Then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of pure vanilla extract. And then we're gonna mix that together. So now we're gonna go back and check on our melted chocolate chips and see how they're coming along. All right, it looks like everything's melted. But before we dump it in here, we're gonna add some of this back into a cup. I'm gonna take a cup of this mixture and put it in here. But before we even do that, there was one ingredient I forgot to mention at the top, which is a half a package of Philadelphia cream cheese. So you're gonna take a half a package of Philadelphia cream cheese and add it to this warmed pot. And that's gonna be part of your sauce that you're gonna add at the end when everything's cooked and you cut off a slice, you're gonna pour that sauce right over top of the white chocolate bread pudding. This whole mixture is nice and velvety smooth, and it's really nice and thick because of the cream cheese. So we're gonna reserve a good cup of this for our sauce for later to pour over top. All right, so we're gonna take a good cup of this and put it off to the side. All right, so now we're gonna go back and take this mixture to the egg and sugar mixture. So we're gonna go over there with that right now. Okay, so now we have the egg mixture that was mixed with the 3 cups of sugar and the 2 tablespoons of vanilla. So now we're gonna start adding in our melted white chocolate chips and cream cheese and milk mixture. But we're gonna add that in slowly because this is eggs and we don't wanna cook the eggs. We just wanna add this in real slowly. So I guess they call this tempering the eggs so they don't you don't have scrambled eggs in your food. So we're just gonna do that a little bit at a time. All right, the legs are tempered enough that we can pour the rest of this in here. And now we have a nice velvety, smooth consistency to go into the bread itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this hot mixture over our cubed up French bread that's stale. Now, some people will keep this overnight in the refrigerator and let the bread soak in. I just do it for a couple hours because I'm impatient. So I'm just gonna pour that right over top. I left a little bit out because what I do like to do is I like to add a little bit of white chocolate chips into the bread pudding. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of these in here just to add a little bit of more sweetness because, you know, if it wasn't rich enough, now let's just go ahead and just top it off. And I'm gonna kind of push those in there. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all done. So I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator, let it sit for about 2 hours, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. 2 hours, it's ready to go in the oven. So now this has been in the refrigerator for 2 hours. We're going to put it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. We're gonna check on it and see what it looks like. We're gonna wait until it has a golden brown crust on top. What's that? All right, so it looks like it's starting to bubble. I don't think it's quite done yet, but you're getting these little golden pieces here at the top, and it's starting to pull away from the pan. But we're gonna leave this in for another, well, it says 18 minutes. So we're gonna check on it in about 10. Yeah, 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. All right, it smells heavenly in the house and it's completely cooked. I'm not gonna cook it any longer because I don't want those top pieces to burn, but it looks fantastic. What? Ooh, we're gonna wait for it to cool off before we cut into it. Then we're gonna pour that vanilla sauce that we made earlier right on top. It looks so good. It does look good. All right, it's cooled off. It's not actually completely cooled because the people in my house cannot wait any longer and they keep asking about the white chocolate bread pudding. So I'm gonna cut them up a piece and pour it over the sauce over the top. All right, Cindy, since you've been the sickest, you get the first piece. What?
I've been talking about this all day and you give the sick kid the bread pudding first? Yeah.
All right, Aubrey, you get the second piece because you complain the most.
It looks and smells delicious.
Is it really good?
Oh my god.
It's been a while since we made this.
It's so good. This is so delicious!
I would normally say, I'd like to say a special thank you, but I don't want to say a special thank you to strep throat. But, I mean, honestly, it was probably a good idea that you got strep throat because I had nothing else to film except for making white chocolate bread pudding.
I mean, it wasn't good for my sake.
No, it wasn't, but we did get to enjoy a really good dessert. If you'd like a home in the area, you can always visit my website at yourrealestatewhisperer.com. If you'd like to know more about buying homes here in the Ascension Parish area, I will leave a link in the description to my free ebook. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer for Ascension Parish, and we tell you all this because you matter.
Yeah. I already ate the whole thing.
Well, it was good.
Thank you for having us over for Ascension Parish Coffee Talk.
Stop.